Hello, welcome to Your Mental Health Matters, brought to you by ONV. My name is Crystal Kelly. Welcome, welcome. Hello,
Hey,
everybody. Mr.
welcome
Hey,
back.
Salavio, Miss Tammy. We are
Happy
back.
good
holidays.
evening.
Good
Yes.
evening. And
Welcome
so,
back. Yep.
yeah, so
Mhm.
tonight we're going to tap into some seasonal depression,
Mhm.
holidays, grief, a little bit of all of that because
Mhm.
people are going through some stuff right now,
Right.
you
Indeed.
know? And so we just want to educate you guys on how to manage if you're dealing with any seasonal depression, any grief, you know, this is what we're here for. So let's get
Get
it.
into it.
Yes. So let's just start off with what is seasonal depression?
And you can start. I can start.
Yep.
Okay.
Question.
So, basically, it is during the fall
Mm-hmm.
and winter months when we don't have enough sunshine
Yeah.
or enough vitamin D, and a lot of people are kind of cooped up and going
Mm-hmm.
in or staying in more than normal, and
Mm-hmm.
then just getting into that. I want to say funk, but that's what it is,
Right,
you
right.
know. And I know that the holidays plays a big part in that, where you
Mm.
have people dealing with the loss of loved ones,
Yes.
triggers, that brings on that. So it could be a number of things, but those are some of the basics that cause the seasonal depression. But it's defined by the months, in the
Mm-hmm.
year, which is the fall.
Yeah.
The longer nights
Yes.
and shorter days plays a big part in that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So.
Seasonal depression is real.
Mhm.
Not only are you dealing with depression, you got to think about, the season
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
And so that impacts it even more.
Mhm.
So, what are some triggers you think people struggle with? Like, we're in this season now and people are getting triggered. And so, can we kind of define or give some examples of what some triggers could be?
For now, you got something like
No, I'm just thinking like you kind of said something that made me think like anniversaries. A lot of
Yes.
anniversaries of loved ones passing or
Mhm.
Yes.
big transitions in your life.
That's right.
Also, again, that time of year is stressful, and I think it's a lot of it kind of exacerbates whatever else was going on. So you
Mm-hmm.
may have been dealing with some mild depression all through,
Right.
Mhm.
spring and summer, and then fall hits, and
The
Mm-hmm.
now you got the
holidays are coming
holidays.
up, and then this is a time where usually families and loved ones get
Mm-hmm.
together, but then you have to think about those who don't have
Right.
those connections,
Right.
and that's the main thing that's promoted, like on the
Mm-hmm.
media,
Yes, that's
with the
huge.
the commercials and gatherings for families.
Which has
Mm-hmm.
got
Then
to be
you have
tough.
it's tough for the
Another
people that are
reminder of the
by
things you
Yes,
don't
themselves.
have.
that's
Hmm.
right.
Yep. So that can be definitely an impact on the emotions and psyches of people.
Yeah, and think
Mm-hmm.
about social media. People are posting, a
Mm-hmm.
lot, being with their families and the kids, and
Cool trips they're taking.
yeah, those are
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
triggers.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's gatherings. And
Mm-hmm.
what can we do to kind of offset that when
Yeah.
we know? And I know Miss Crystal just had a session with some
Mm-hmm.
groups of people here recently just
Yeah.
to give them a heads up on
Mm-hmm.
what to expect. And that was a really, really good session. So if you guys missed it, you missed a treat. And I don't know when she's going to start it back up, but that's your chance to.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
So yes, we did a seasonal depression 4 week group at Uniquely You Counseling and Wellness Center, and so I was wanting to equip people,
Mhm.
giving tools of how to manage your seasonal depression, and
Mhm.
so it was an awesome group. And
Mhm.
so some things that came out of that were okay, being able to recognize like you got to be intentional with being paying attention to like how you feel,
Your
Yeah.
emotions. Yep.
your emotions, being more in tune. What are
Yeah.
you noticing that is different from, you know, summer versus the fall now?
Mhm. Mhm. And what can we do to um, offset some of those things?
Yeah.
I mean, we can't really get rid of all of the
Right.
emotions and symptoms that come with it, but
Mm-hmm.
I think we can name some of the things that can help,
Yeah.
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 which is like you said, being intentional before it gets there, having a
Mm-hmm.
plan of how you're going to deal with it,
Yes.
being connected with, your loved ones, or going to groups
Yeah.
like you had. It
Yeah.
those,
Support groups.
yeah,
Yeah.
support
Yeah.
groups for those individuals who don't have family connections. So
Mhm.
those are a couple of things. And one thing that I think that helps a lot of people, I will always go to exercise because,
Yeah, being active.
and I know with being active, especially in the wintertime, it's
Yeah.
hard because people
Mhm.
don't want to go out. They want
Right.
to go to work and home and work and home, and that's it. But we
Mhm.
have to be intentional
Yes.
about putting that in, whether it's walking in the building, doing some stairs
Mhm.
or what have you.
Yeah.
Definitely have to stay active
Yeah.
because that plays a big part in our mental health.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And something as simple as walking.
Yeah.
Again, it's
Mhm.
I got one of those little $80 treadmills. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Just put it in the house, and
Mhm.
there's mornings where I'll walk because I want to
Yeah.
get some sun.
Right.
It'd be cold, Sometimes it's
Yeah.
rough, but so I get that walking treadmill in the house, and spending a lot of time sitting down. I
Mm.
try to like every hour get up and walk on
Yeah.
that thing.
Makes
for
a
10, 15
difference.
minutes.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Again, I think mindfulness is a huge
Yeah.
part of that.
I love that.
I really do. I think part of it for me is like, remember how hot it was in the summer?
Man.
You know what I mean? Now it's winter, so try to
Right.
enjoy it. Try to appreciate it. It's not as hot,
Yeah.
But sooner or later, it's gonna be summer again.
Yes.
Mhm.
And so again, I think mindfulness is a huge one for me, along with
Mhm.
exercise, which I feel is a part of that because it
Yeah.
kind of takes you out of your daily stressors, and I always say it puts your brain back in your body.
Right.
So
Mm.
this is in control of how you feel instead of the other way around.
That part.
You know?
That part.
Yeah.
So exercise, mindfulness are two things I think you can do.
Mhm.
Yeah. And getting enough sunlight,
Yeah.
you know. And so if you're at home or if you're at work, if you have a nice window, opening up the shades,
Yeah.
it
Mhm.
makes a big difference.
It
Mhm.
does.
And fresh air too. I mean, we
Yeah.
don't want to discount being outside. I know
Mhm.
I'm the main one that gets cold quickly, but I do know the benefits of having fresh air on a daily basis, even if it's just cracking a window for a short
Mhm.
time during the day or when you're out
Yeah.
there, take a couple deep breaths,
Mhm.
and calming yourself, but also getting that fresh air inside you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I also feel like it's important too, like I'd rather you do that, like get up in the morning and open up the windows and the curtains and get some sunlight than jump on your phone and start scrolling through social
That
media.
part.
And
You
that
know,
makes
I
it
Right.
think
worse.
that's a huge one too,
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
being proactive in the sense of understanding as we go into these winter months. You're
Mhm.
going to be
Mhm.
feeling maybe a
That's
little more
right.
down. So
That's
maybe
right.
chill on the social media first thing in the morning. Give it 2
Yeah.
hours. You know what I mean?
And that you bring that up, it's like people start comparing
Right?
what they
Yeah.
have,
That's
what
right.
they don't have
That FOMO.
with yes. I don't know what
FOMO. I always thought it's fear of missing out is the
Okay.
little acronym.
Okay,
Yep.
gotcha.
But
Yep.
it's like an actual thing. The way I describe it is, someone's in Rome having a great time posting on
Yes.
social media. Hey,
Right.
I'm having a great time in Rome,
Mhm.
and someone back home in Fort Wayne is like, well, dang, my life's terrible. I'm not living my best life. I'm not in Rome.
Man.
And so that person plans a trip to Japan because they fear they're
Mhm.
missing out on life, right? FOMO.
Yes.
And so they go to Japan and they're posting online, hey, having a great time in Japan. But the whole
Mhm.
time they're in Japan, they're
Mm.
not having a good time because they're worried it's not as good as that dude's
See?
time in Rome.
Right. Right.
You know what
Wow.
I'm saying?
With
Yeah.
comparing.
Yeah.
Comparing.
Yeah.
So
It
what
makes
do
it
they say?
worse. Yeah.
Comparison is the thief of joy.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
What
Yeah.
what about things that they people, if you have something to look forward to, how does that help,
Mm.
Yeah.
with our emotions, and
Right.
making the time go by? I know we talked about that one day in your groups, and
Mm.
one thing for me is that football season. I like
Oh,
football, right?
Indeed.
yes.
However, I know what comes with football.
Right.
It's the cold weather, whatever.
My team
But
is terrible.
yeah,
That's what comes
that's
with
it.
it.
Yeah, right.
My team.
Oh,
Damn.
I'll ask you that afterwards. Who that is, right?
Now they just won, but hey, I'm not.
Okay.
Anyway.
It's
So,
all right.
I always mark my calendar though,
Mm.
because January is like the hardest month to get
Yes.
through.
Longest month. Yeah.
But I always mark my calendar for Super Bowl,
Mm-hmm.
because from there it's like my mindset goes, okay, spring is about here.
Mhm.
Not quite.
That's
but it's
good.
coming.
That's
Yeah.
I
good.
like that.
Yeah.
And I look at that too in the sense of like setting goals.
Mhm.
Maybe
I
there's
was
some
thinking
goals
that. Yep.
Habits.
you want to get through. You know what I mean?
Habits. Mhm.
Yeah. Everybody wants to wait till New Year's for New Year's resolutions, which
Mm.
I don't know. I go back and forth. I think it's good to
Mhm.
try to start off the year fresh and do some
Yeah.
different things, sure.
Mhm.
But I
Mhm.
also feel like, are you setting yourself up to fail?
Right.
You know what I'm
Mm.
saying?
Every
Great
time.
question.
If you don't do it, and it goes back to being consistent. That's the
Yeah.
whole point. So if you
Mhm.
can start some consistent habits now, like walking, like
Mm.
eating more fruits and vegetables.
Yeah,
You know what
staying
I'm saying?
hydrated.
Simple things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
For those people that
Then
can't
come
afford the
January,
gym.
you'll be glad you did.
Come
Right.
You know,
on.
Right.
you'll be glad you did.
Structure is
Yeah.
huge. And
Mhm.
so having a structure that you can, look forward to,
Yeah.
like already expect, so having a morning,
Yeah, that's
midday,
true.
afternoon, night, some type of structure.
Because then it doesn't matter
Mhm.
how you feel; you can just fall back into your routine and
Right.
just
Routine is a beautiful
do it
thing.
until you kind of picks you back up. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. That's good. So what about the sleep? I know this is the time that we want to sleep longer,
Right.
and that's fine. But sometimes you can sleep too long.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Recommend for the adults 7 to 9 hours.
Mm.
However, making sure it's good quality sleep, not
Yes.
necessarily quantity over quality.
Mm.
But that plays a part in our mental health.
Big
You know,
time.
making sure we get the right amount of sleep and the right quality of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Sleep hygiene.
It's
Sleep
a,
hygiene,
that's right.
nutrition. You mentioned that.
Yeah.
Boundaries.
Boundaries. Yes.
That's another one. Going back to the
Ooh,
events
yeah.
and family, and a lot of
Right.
people have some stressful family relationships. They could
Yes.
be
Come
loving.
on.
I'm not hating,
Right.
but let's be real. You know what I'm saying? You got
Mhm.
that one auntie that get on your nerves, or you
Man.
got that cousin that you can't stand. You know what I'm
Wow.
saying?
That's a real thing.
Yeah,
It's a
and
real
so
thing.
again, it's like instead of maybe that's kind of part of the mindfulness.
Mhm.
Instead of kind of focusing on those negative things about
Right.
those people, just accepting them for who they are,
That's
Yeah.
right.
and understanding I'm only going to see you this
For a
this
few
month.
That's it. That's
right?
it.
For
Come
about an
on.
hour.
Right.
And half that time my mouth gonna be full, so we ain't speaking. So you know what I mean? We'll make it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We'll get
Or
through it.
even not feeling obligated that you have to show up.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Part of boundaries, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about tying into our spiritual foundation?
Mm.
Again, yeah, sometimes this season is harder for some than others.
Mm-hmm.
And I just believe that having that strong spiritual foundation
It's huge.
makes a big difference
Mhm.
in us moving forward from depression, from
Right.
mental, illness and all that. So
Mm.
I think that's a big part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to tap into grief a little bit.
Mhm.
I know we hit on it just a little bit ago, but grief is huge.
I agree.
Mhm.
You
And
know.
I wanted to
Go
kind
ahead.
of expand on that.
Yeah.
A lot of people think of grief as just losing someone,
Mhm.
but grief could be a lot of things: losing an opportunity, losing
Job.
a job.
Yeah.
I had a guy
Relationships.
that was very athletic, and he had like
Mm.
both his knees blew up by the age of 40. So he had these
Mm.
multiple knee surgeries, and he couldn't play basketball and kickbox and do all these things. And he
Mhm.
was going through grief,
Mhm.
grieving his lost
Right.
ability.
Right.
So I think grief is another thing that the more we learn about it,
Right.
the bigger we realize it is and how much it
Mhm.
affects us. Yeah.
And one misconception with grief, and I
Mm.
was just talking to someone about this today, is that people want to give you a time frame and say, "Oh, you
Mm-mm.
should be over it by now." And the
Mm-mm.
misconception is that we don't have a timeline,
Right. Right.
and it can come and go.
Yeah.
The better feelings or the happy feelings, but then suddenly you're back down to zero. So
Mhm.
I tell people, don't limit yourself by what people say.
That's right.
And take your time. Don't let them tell you, "Hey, you should have been done with this by now." And get the help that you need, of
What do
course,
they know anyway?
to go
Yeah,
through
I know.
it.
What they know anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
That
You know what I'm
part.
Because it
saying?
can
That
be
part.
a roller coaster.
Yeah.
And then get the help you need. Stay
Mhm.
connected with your loved ones.
Yeah.
Right.
And talk about
Yeah, talking about it
Mhm.
is the healing,
Mhm.
because a lot of times people think, oh, I can't talk about my uncle or I can't talk about my granny,
Mhm.
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's going to make it worse. But I always encourage people, talk about
Yeah.
those memories,
Totally.
Mhm.
Totally.
creating new traditions.
Create new traditions.
I love that.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's again working with a lot of trauma,
Yeah.
working with a lot of grief. With RRT, there's a different kind of
Mhm.
philosophy on it in the sense that we feel that if we don't grieve enough, we didn't love them enough.
Mm.
You know,
Right.
But then
And
people grieve differently.
that's
So
very true.
Yeah.
That's
you
very
can't
true.
tell one that is quiet and reserved
Mhm.
and dealing with it.
And saying you're not grieving enough.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
what's wrong with
Right.
you?
Yeah.
You can't do that because all of us are different. All of us have different personalities,
Mhm.
different emotional
Yeah.
um,
That's true.
foundations and
Yeah.
all that. So you can't look at me and say, "Hey," and then the other one, you can't say that the one that's falling all over the ground was
I'm
that
Mhm.
connected.
surprised. That wasn't
Right.
hurting you that
Yes,
bad.
yes.
Yeah.
Man.
And again, I feel like it is a process. And once again, I don't
Mhm.
want to
Limit.
tell everybody they need to be in therapy, but everybody need to be in
And it's a
therapy.
beautiful thing. It's
I'm
a
just saying.
beautiful
Let's be
thing.
real. Because again, I
Yeah.
go back to you're learning how to process these emotions.
Yes.
So again, if your grief is extreme or if your grief is not that extreme,
Right.
that's something you've been learning to process in therapy.
Mhm.
Or at the very
Mhm.
least, you have an objective person there that can
Yeah.
help
Mhm.
you process it and not tell you how you should be feeling.
That's
Mhm.
right.
You know what I mean? And so educating yourself on grief in general, but also
Mhm.
learning how your grief manifests is, I
Yes.
think, two crucial points in there. So yeah.
Mhm.
I think one thing we have to be mindful of when grief stops us from daily activities.
Yeah, that's huge.
So that's when you really do need to seek out professional help.
Mhm.
And that means maybe staying in bed for 3, 4, 5 days at a time
Mhm.
without taking care of your hygiene, without connecting with your loved ones
Right.
or back to your routines
Yeah.
with work and everything.
Mhm.
And again, it doesn't have to be immediately after the loss. It can
Yeah.
come a few months after the loss. Yeah. So
Mhm.
You
that's
just gotta give yourself time to feel those emotions.
That's
Mhm.
it.
I always
That's
say
it.
feel it. So many people try not to feel. Like
Trying
you're
to numb
saying, they
themselves.
don't want to
Yeah.
bring up the grief because they don't want to feel all these feelings,
Right.
but it's like, how do you get good at something?
Thank you.
Through
Mhm.
experience, through
Mhm.
processing it. And so the more you feel it, the better you get at feeling it. And
Yeah.
you can put it away easier. But I think it's also, again, that's something that a lot of people we're not encouraged to do.
Right.
You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying?
To be strong and be
Regular
tough.
society.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
exactly. It's suck it up and deal
Mm.
with it. You know
Yeah,
what I
it
mean?
shouldn't be
Mhm.
that way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How about kids? I don't want to leave them out.
For grief?
For grief.
I say that's
boy.
probably where most of our problems start, isn't it?
Man,
Exactly.
come
You know what I'm
on.
saying?
Exactly.
Come
Because
on.
Where the
if-
grief seed was planted
Man.
was
Yeah.
probably somewhere in childhood.
But then people
Yes.
tend to think that kids don't have emotional connections to
Mhm.
loss, whether it's physical death or losing a pet or whatever.
Right, right.
However, we see it differently in
Mhm.
kids, whereas they're going to be acting up more.
Yeah, that's true.
They don't know how to express it
They don't have
like
Right.
we do.
language.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So those are things that we need to look for in them.
Mhm.
The acting out,
Yeah.
the anger, the outbursts,
Mhm.
when you know that that kid is not normally
Right.
that way.
Yeah.
So there are different signs, definitely, but don't dismiss them
That's
Yeah.
it. That's it.
because if we don't acknowledge it for the kids and get them the help that they need or help them through it,
Mhm.
then it's going to turn into something else
Yeah.
when
Mhm.
we get older.
And there are resources out there, for
Mhm.
that.
Great
There's
resources.
great resources for helping kids with trauma.
Yeah.
and-
Books
and
is
grief.
always a
Yeah.
beautiful
Yeah.
thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Library.
Yes, the
It's free.
library.
Yeah.
Yes.
Aaron's house.
Yeah.
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 Aaron's house. I love Aaron's house
True.
here in
Yeah.
Fort Wayne. I mean, this is what they're known for.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you would think they'd have programs like that everywhere.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, do we have a question or a comment? Miss Tammy, can you read
Can
that?
I
Do you okay?
Which one are you looking at here? Good evening. I really hope I can get an answer to my question.
Okay.
I respect their options. There are options, and I'm really struggling right now, and I'm not sure how to deal with it all. Hmm.
Okay.
So I will say with that, and I don't know if there's a specific question or a specific concern, but if this individual, if you are having suicidal thoughts or homicidal thoughts, I'm just going to put it out there. We do have 988, and that's some immediate help. That's a 24/7, kind of like a 911 call, but this is dealing more with your mental health, your emotional well-being. So I suggest that you would call the 988 number. And then if there is something more specific, if you can let us know that, we can try to help you
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. I definitely say, tap in with somebody. In scheduling some type of therapy. I might even say start off looking at something like BetterHelp. that you can do
Right.
virtually over the holidays or something, just to kind of
Mhm.
get things started. And I also tell people, don't settle for the first person, right?
Right,
It's all
right.
about connection. It's all about
Yes,
who
that's
you click
huge.
with. And
Yes.
so don't be afraid. It ain't gonna hurt nobody's feelings if you tell that therapist,
Mm-mm.
"Hey, I don't feel like we vibing. Let me see somebody
Yeah,
else."
that's
You know
right.
what I'm saying? So yeah, they would appreciate
Yes,
that. To
being
be honest with
honest,
you.
being honest.
So I definitely say that. I mean, you could probably schedule a virtual appointment with somebody
Mhm.
Yeah,
this week, this
yeah,
weekend. It is
Mhm.
available.
yeah,
Um, but BetterHelp was just the one that came to mind. I
yeah.
know there's other.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's other, resources like psychologytoday.com is a great resource if you're looking for a therapist. And then Uniquely You Counseling and Wellness Center here in Wayndale. We're accepting new clients. If there's insurance, we accept insurance. And so it's just a matter of finding out, who you want to connect with and get that help that you're seeking.
Mhm. It's another question,
Okay.
and I apologize because
Absolutely.
it's some small writing. Good evening. I'm really hoping I can get an answer. That's the same one.
I think it was saying something about financial depression with financial stuff.
Okay. Yeah, y'all
What
can
about the
see it.
people who
I can.
become? I don't got my glasses. No, who become reclusive during the season? No, it was up. Scroll up a bit. Yeah.
Yeah,
What
okay.
about the depression of the season that is financial?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a
Mm.
good one, and that goes to the comparison. And I'm not saying that that individual is. I I do believe it's unfortunate how our society is made up because you go with these commercials with these high priced items and
Yeah.
people make it too commercial.
Right.
And we need to get back to what the season is really
That's
about.
right.
And
That's
but
right.
that is pressure. I'm not trying to dismiss that because that is pressure for, families and individuals who can't make that happen or
Yeah.
and want to make it happen,
Yeah.
whether for their kids or gatherings or what have you. Um, I would suggest us remembering what the real meaning of the season
Yes, that
is.
part.
However, there are financial resources that we can also
Yeah, there's
get out
like
there.
like Christmas pantries and Christmas things
Mhm.
that like give gifts to kids. Again, apologies, I don't have the numbers, websites off the top of my head,
Right, right.
but I
Mhm.
know like there's the Christmas Bureau. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
And Salvation Army,
yeah,
I think they do
yeah,
a lot.
And then you can also reach out to 211,
that's
Yeah.
very true.
to get those resources if you're looking for, programs that can help with like Christmas. And so 211
Hmm.
is a great resource.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I guess too, there's a difference between I'm trying to buy gifts for my kids or I'm about to be homeless. So
Hmm.
I feel like too that's something 211 would have resources
Yeah.
for as well.
Mhm.
Hmm. And then what's sh- Iris used to be Scan.
Okay, okay.
They
Downtown.
have different resources as well, and there's a number of organizations that kind of help with the families, whether it's
Mhm.
trying to help them find jobs.
Mhm.
So I again don't know if there's a specific need
Okay. All
that
right.
that individual is looking for.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, these are great questions. So
Hmm.
let's keep them coming. We definitely would like to help and support as much as we can.
I'm trying to see which.
Okay.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think we're playing catch up. Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I hope
Yeah.
that answered. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of
Well,
cool. I don't think I ever took a question on air like that.
I know.
And
I
neither one
love
of us.
this. I love this. This again, this is
It's
what
a
we're
new
here. We
thing.
want to support. We want to provide as much information as possible
Mhm.
because all of us are going through stuff right now.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
And I
Hmm.
think the social connection, it's
It's
huge.
huge.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there are a number of group sessions for
Mhm.
specific needs, whether
Yeah.
it's
True.
So one that I'm familiar with is Grief Share. Have
mm,
anybody heard of Grief Share?
no.
So a lot of that is in like different churches, different
Mhm.
organizations, and Grief Share is a great resource to help with the grief.
Mhm.
Knowing that you're not by yourself.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
And so I love that particular organization. Again, it's in different churches. I know here in Fort Wayne, it's a lot of churches that offer grief shares all free.
Mhm. I know Mother to Mother, they were on
Okay.
here
Yeah.
just over a year ago. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not just losing a child that,
Mm-hmm.
they deal with individuals, but it's anyone
Mm-hmm.
who has lost anyone close to them.
Yeah.
But Mother to Mother, and unfortunately, I don't have their direct contact right now, but I'm sure
Mhm.
they can Google it or look it up on social media
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
find out more information on how they can get connected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're almost towards the end of our podcast. What is it, some of the biggest things, takeaways that we want our audience to, be aware of during this season? Because the biggest one left is Christmas. We're almost there.
Yeah.
Going into
Yeah.
New Year's.
Mhm.
2026.
Yes, big time.
For me, just repeating what I said earlier, just remembering the reason for the season,
Mm-hmm.
and that's for me, spreading more joy, more
Mm-hmm.
love, more kindness
Yeah.
to individuals, and also getting the help that you feel that you need. If you're struggling,
Right.
reach out to some of the connections that we may have posted online. Um, CM Heart to Soul is also taking new clients.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think that's connected to the ONV website, getting the proper sleep, exercise, nutrition,
Mm-hmm.
more water, fresh air.
Yeah.
That's what
Love it.
Yeah, yeah. No, it came. I was thinking about this earlier. I think something that one could do if they're
Mm-hmm.
struggling with, feeling, depressed, down,
Yeah.
isolated, reclusive, is to volunteer. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
that I love
Go work in a
that.
soup kitchen. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Go read to blind kids. You
Come
know what I'm
on.
saying? Go.
Yeah. Visit the nursing homes.
Yeah, yeah.
I. Oh yeah.
Visit the babies in the NICU. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? There's a lot of things. Sometimes stepping outside of yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and doing for others can be a good way to kind of put things in perspective.
Big time.
Because there's always somebody out there that got it worse.
Always. It's crazy, but
Yeah,
it's true.
yeah.
It's true.
True.
And the last thing I want to just share too is that, you got to be honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If you're struggling, it's okay to ask for help. And so, nope, we're not mind readers. Nobody's a mind reader. But if you're struggling with having any suicidal thoughts, you're struggling with how to regulate your emotions, you're struggling with loss and grief, there are resources out here. So again, this podcast is a great resource. ONV is a great resource. 211 psychologytoday.com, uniquely you, counseling and wellness center. Again, Google, put in what you're looking for. It's just a matter of seeking out that help.
Mm-hmm.
And so we want the best for you guys. Again, we know life is hard, but it doesn't have to be. If you want to get that help, be better, do better. And so our prayer for everybody is going into 2026 with goals, things that you have stuff to look forward to,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so we're looking forward to connecting with everybody going into the new year. This is our last podcast for 2025. And so if there's anything that you guys want us to tap into, explore more, educate you guys more about, please reach out to us, OMV. We definitely would love to present those topics during our podcast going into 2026. So again, we're here. This is your Mental Health Matters. My name is Crystal Kelly. We love you guys. We want the best for you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. We're out.